Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about shame, and especially the concept of shame around having excess weight and being fat in a society that sees fat as like being fat is almost like a character flaw. So, and how do you deal with it, and how do you live with it? And I want to share my own story, and I would also love to hear about you, how you deal with this self concept of shame. So yeah, let's get started. So my journey with shame started from a very early age, from childhood actually. I remember, I think the first person in my life who made me feel ashamed of my weight, of how I looked, was my mother. And I think a lot of you guys can relate if you have been overweight and fat most of your life. Sometimes our worst enemies are our own parents and our own family. And yeah, I think the same was for me as well. So I was always on the heavier side, even as a child, even as a kid. I used to love to eat a lot, and yeah, I used to just enjoy food. I never saw food as something that you should like abstain from. You should not have enough. And yeah, I was always a bit of a foodie, but I was never too compulsive about it. I think that only happened much in the later years. But I always remember my mom being super controlling about my eating habits, about what I would eat and how much of it I would eat. And she would always, even as a little child, even as like maybe as young as 7, 8, 9 years of age, I remember feeling this self-conscious around how much I would eat, and she would kind of shame me for it. She would always be like, you know, we feel like there was something wrong with me for because I loved food, or I loved to eat more than the normal child. And I would feel really ashamed of that, even at that age, right? When you're like 8, 9 years of age, you barely know, right? You don't have a strong self-concept yet. Yeah, your identity is not fully developed. So whatever people tell you, whatever they associate you with, like the grown-ups around you, your parents, or your immediate grown-ups around you, whatever they associate you with, you start believing it about yourself. So I just remember from the early stage being associated with being fat and having something wrong with me, some problem with me, because I love to eat more than the average kid. And I just remember feeling this really ashamed. And I think my toxic relationship, my eating disorder, kind of started from that age. Like I had a very toxic relationship with food later in my teenage years and in my adulthood, and as long as until now as well. But I think it all started from that age when I started associating food or eating food with something wrong, with there being something wrong with me, and feeling ashamed whenever I would eat, as if like, oh, I shouldn't be eating this, but I'm still eating this. So that self-concept of shame was yeah, kind of ingrained in me from that age. And then I think that affected my entire life growing up, because when you have that self-concept from that young age, whatever you do later on in your life, it sort of kind of creeps in. It becomes a part of your identity. And even later on, as I grew up, that toxic relationship with food kind of got much worse. um, as you know, as pressure in my life grew from studies, from career, and peer pressure and all of that, I kind of relied on food more and more for comfort, for emotional support. And again, just it would be this vicious circle of me relying on food for comfort, and then eating food, and then feeling shame, a lot of shame and guilt for eating. And I would see other people and my friends and everyone else who would eat food and feel normal, and then they would eat whatever they wanted, cakes, chocolates, pastries, pizza, pasta, whatever they wanted, and they would feel completely okay, and they would not put on any weight. Whereas whenever I would do that, I would feel this guilt eat me alive, and then I would actually end up putting on weight. And I feel like after doing therapy and after doing a lot of inner work, I realized a lot of it has to do with shame, and it being the basis of my very identity, is to the point where I really cannot enjoy food. I really don't see food as just nourishment, as something that my body needs and craves, but rather something that I should hate, something that I should avoid, something that I should resist. And well, turns out I was not able to resist it. I would always go back to it, even when I would go on any diets or anything. I would always go back to my same patterns of binge eating and eating junk food, eating fast food, eating comfort food. So yeah, that's been my story all my life. And I really don't understand why people have to shame you for eating, or even shame you for your weight. I think there's this term called fat shaming that all of us, we are all aware of, and especially if you're a fat person, I'm pretty sure you have been fat shamed at some point in your life, and most of the times it's by people who are closest to us. So maybe it was one of your parents, or both. Maybe it was your friend, or maybe your boyfriend or girlfriend, or someone at work. But it's always people who are closest to us that feel entitled to hurt us, if that makes sense. So I really don't understand why people do that. But yeah, I definitely feel like it's so easy for people, it's so easy for our society to look at a fat person and be like, okay, they're fat, there's something wrong with them, and I should just go and comment on them, or criticize them, or judge them, or say something really mean to their face, because, well, they deserve it, and shame them basically. And I think that is so insensitive, that is so inhuman to do that to a person. It's just like you being broke, and you having financial problems, or you being unemployed, and me going up to your face and just rubbing it in your face that, hey, you're so jobless, and you are such a loser for not doing any work, you do nothing, you don't have any money. I mean, how harsh is that? How insensitive is that? How extremely cruel is that? And yet that is exactly how we treat all the fat people in our society. We just shame them, and we love shaming them. That is kind of one of our favorite things to do as a social group. It's such a sadistic pleasure that we get out of shaming another person for their weakness, or for something that they are struggling with, as if they are completely unaware of the fact that they are fat, of the fact that they have this excess weight. It's almost as if you're trying to rub it in their face, like as if they're not aware of it already. And I don't support it at all. And I feel that if you are someone who fat shames someone who's fat, as a fat person, I just want to tell you that yeah, we are well aware of our weight. We are well aware of the fact that we don't look like you, and we're still human. We still have a heart, and we still have feelings. We're not robots, so it really hurts us. And if in case you're thinking that, you know, I'm helping them by saying it, let me just break it to you, you are not. No fat person has ever decided, okay, I will, you know, change myself because someone fat shamed me. And if they did that, then it's coming from a place of really low self-esteem. Nobody, and if that was really the case, then there would be no fat people in this entire world, because, you know, you would just fat shame us and we would go to the gym the next day and start working out. But that's not how it happens, because it does not work. You cannot you know, you cannot shame someone. You cannot come from a place of hate, from a place of shame, and then, you know, expect transformation and then cause transformation in someone. I think transformation comes from a place of love and acceptance, not from a place of hate. And yeah, so that's all I wanted to I just wanted to vent out about this topic. It's really personal to me, and I hope you could relate to it as well. Do let me know, are you also someone who struggles with the concept of shame around your weight, around eating? Do you also feel like people fat shame you, and how does that make you feel? And yeah, I would love to hear your story. And yeah, let's lift each other up instead of putting each other down. Okay, bye, see you in the next video.